It is a beautiful evening tonight, and I am sure that you are thankful that we've been given a little bit of a respite from the heat and humidity of the past several weeks. But as we stand here tonight and enjoy this calm and beautiful evening air, and enjoy the freedom that we have to be gathered here without fear of being harmed simply for being here, those we have come here tonight to remember and to honor do not share in our comfort and in our safety. I know that many of us have complained in the recent weeks about the weather, the temperatures in the 90s, the high humidity that we have experienced over the last few weeks. It has indeed been hot, I will grant you that. But the temperature in Baghdad today was 116 degrees. And it has consistently been in excess of 110 degrees there and throughout most of Iraq every day since late May. Imagine, if you can, what it would feel like here right now if it were 120 degrees. Now imagine that instead of your comfortable light summer clothing, and some of you are even wearing jackets this evening, imagine that you are dressed in a long-sleeved field uniform with a Kevlar helmet on your head, a 35-pound Kevlar armored vest around your body, a pack full of equipment on your back, and a heavy weapon in your hands. Now, imagine that instead of simply sitting here quietly and listening to the speakers on this stage, you were working hard in that heat, wearing all of that hot and heavy gear. And if you're not uncomfortable enough yet in your imaginings, add to all of this the fact that the air is heavy with superfine dry dust that puffs up around your feet every time you take a step and sticks in your throat every time you take a breath. Now finally, imagine as you endure these physical challenges, an enemy that you can't distinguish from the general population who is trying to kill you as you try to do your job. That is the stark reality of what our troops endure day in and day out in Iraq and Afghanistan today. And that is why we must, as we are doing here tonight, pause from our own day-to-day trials and tribulations and honor those who serve in the defense of our country and her values. In May of 1962, General Douglas MacArthur, in a speech at West Point, uttered three words that have come to epitomize the essence of a service member: duty, honor, country. He was describing the characteristics of those who had served in our country in his and prior generations, in the trenches of Europe through the First World War, in the hot jungles of the Pacific and the cold, snowy fields of Europe in World War II, and in the rugged landscape of Korea. Sounds like ISU has scored. All right. In the years since General MacArthur's apt tribute, soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines of our great nation have honorably fought and died in other theaters, in the steamy jungles of Vietnam, in places like Grenada and Somalia, in Kuwait, and today in the desert heat of Iraq and the mountain cold of Afghanistan. And as we gather tonight to honor our troops who serve today, I am compelled to think of General MacArthur's words, and I am secure in knowing firsthand that our fighting men and women are living those values. I've had the privilege of standing beside men and women of honor in Iraq, soldiers who live and breathe the values of duty, honor, and country. And you folks can rest assured that despite the instability and violence that are reported daily, American service members are indeed making a positive difference in Iraq. I can tell you from my own personal experience and observations, and tell you that I have seen this progress. I've seen American soldiers working with local authorities to rebuild schools, to repair roads, and to modernize both medical and utility facilities. I have personally worked with Iraqi justice officials who are committed to building a court system that is based on the rule of law and not the dictates of one man's ruthless quest for power. I have had the privilege of speaking with Iraqi citizens who, while they decry the violence that overshadows their daily lives, are so thankful for the American presence and the hope and the opportunity that it has restored to their lives. In particular, I have seen American soldiers, tough, battle-worn American soldiers, in their full battle gear, laughing and playing with Iraqi children, whose smiles hold out the promise that there is indeed a better tomorrow for Iraq. The men and women that we honored this evening know what it means to sacrifice. They know what it means to leave their homes, their jobs, and their families behind. They know what it means to miss the birth of a child, holiday gatherings at grandma's house, birthday celebrations, school programs, or as in my own case, a daughter's 8th grade school year as she grows from a little girl to a young woman. A teenage son's excitement and pride as he wins the tractor driving contest at the county fair for the 3rd year in a row. And to not be there as a loving and supporting wife struggles to handle alone all the things that we once did together. When I think of the soldiers that I served with in Iraq, I know the pain of their sacrifice because it was a shared burden. We often consoled and encouraged each other, helping each other to focus on our mission and to get through just one more day. One more day closer to returning home and reuniting with those we loved and missed so terribly. Yet through all of this, I never noted or heard any bitterness or anger over the fact that we were deployed so far from home. Because the soldier's duty is to sacrifice, to put a college degree on hold, to put a career on hold, to put a family on hold, in order to answer the call to duty and serve with honor. And tonight, as we honor our troops deployed overseas, we must remember that the heartache and anguish of separation that's endured by these service members is not endured alone. I feel compelled to mention those who never received the kind of recognition that they too deserve when we talk about a soldier's sacrifice. And I am speaking, of course, of the service member's family, the spouse, the children, the parents, the brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles who remain at home to carry on while their loved one serves our nation. The sacrifices made by the families of our service members are a service to our country that deserves the thanks and praise of all Americans. I know that the difficulties imposed on my own family in my absence were many. And yet, despite the challenges they faced each and every day, they never, they rarely complained to me about them, because they sought to support and uphold me throughout my deployment. I'd like to ask your indulgence for just a minute so that I can publicly say to my 2 wonderful children, Bobby and Andrea is here tonight, and to my dedicated and devoted wife, Tracy, who's out there holding a flag, thank you for enduring. Thank you for being there. Thank you for your service to our country. And finally, I would be remiss if I failed to mention those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, those who have given their lives so that you and I can be here today in freedom, secure in the knowledge that we live in the greatest and freest nation on the face of the earth.